Hello everyone, welcome to Topper IAS. As part of our daily series, today also we will continue with our discussion of daily, topic keeping UPSC mains in focus. Okay, so the topic that we have picked up is eco-sensitive zones. See, if you are already following the current affairs thoroughly, there was a notification of eco-sensitive zones around Deeper Buell Wildlife Sanctuary in Assam. Okay, so that is why eco-sensitive zones were in news. So we will see what exactly are eco-sensitive zones and why are they declared, all this stuff in today's video. Okay, see, basically eco-sensitive zones are also known as ecologically fragile areas. So these are the areas in India around protected areas like national parks and wildlife sanctuaries. See, protected areas, Wildlife Protection Act of 1972 calls for establishing protected areas. Examples are national park and wildlife sanctuaries. So you are protecting the wildlife over there, species over there. So around these areas eco-sensitive zones have been declared. Okay, so who declares this? See, is economically sensitive zones are notified by Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Government of India under Environment Protection Act of 1986. So what you should remember here is eco-sensitive zone as a term is not mentioned in the act, but there is a clause within the Environment Protection Act 1986 which empowers government to declare such kind of areas restricting certain activities. So in pursuance of that clause, government declares eco-sensitive zones around protected areas. Remember, it is around protected areas. So a question comes, what exactly is the extent, to what extent eco-sensitive zones can be declared, right? See, it can go up to 10 kilometers around the protected area. So this was provided basically in Wildlife Conservation Strategy 2002. So it can extend up to 10 kilometers. Moreover, wherever in cases like corridors, connectivity and ecologically important patches and also landscape linkages, it can go up to even beyond 10 kilometers also. Okay, so basically up to 10 kilometers, and in some places it can also extend, and this was mentioned in Wildlife Conservation Strategy 2002. So what exactly is the significance of eco-sensitive zones? So why are we notifying eco-sensitive zones? See, the purpose of declaring eco-sensitive zone is to create some kind of shock absorbers to protected areas by regulating and managing activities around such areas. See, as I said already, we are establishing protected areas like national park and wildlife sanctuaries. So in these areas there is already a regulation of activities. So even after that, it is obvious that animals will be moving all around. So they will, it is likely that they might go beyond national park also. So if you take care of activities even beyond national park to some extent, so this will also be helpful for the conservation of wildlife, right? So that is why, so it will act as a shock absorbers. So it will be still helping the conservation of forest and even natural animals also. So that is why it is created as some kind of shock absorber, and they also act as a transition zone from areas of high protection to areas involving lesser protection. Obviously, where human settlements are there, beyond national parks and all, so lesser protection for animals, right? So they are in danger, and in national parks there is higher protection. So these areas are kind of transition zones between high protection zone to low protection zone. Okay, and to keep check on urbanization. See, urbanization phenomena, increasing population living in urban areas and increasing construction human settlements. So the settlements have been established in all over the place. So regulating such declaration of these kind of eco sensitive zones will also keep check on urbanization, because you are regulating certain activities over there. Then it aids in the conservation of endangered species in its natural habitat. So that is nothing but in situ conservation. So in situ conservation is happening in national parks and wildlife sanctuaries. So eco sensitive zones will aid in the process of this kind of species, particularly endangered species. Okay, then eco sensitive zones minimize forest depletion and man animal conflict. Yes, because so you are regulating certain activities, and it is acting as a shock absorber and transition zone. So it is in a way is going to reduce the man animal conflict in that area. So that way it helps, and also minimize forest depletion. Yes, because the area is declared, so you are going to keep check on certain urbanization activities, deforestation and all. In that way it will also prevent or minimize forest depletion. Then question comes, what are the threats to these eco-sensitive zones? See, basically threats are along the lines. So if somebody asks what are the threats to forest, what are the threats to animals and all, so similar lines, on the similar lines you will also see same reasons for even eco-sensitive zones also. See, like for example, infrastructure creation, right? So developmental activities according to the quantitative terms, a development means construction of dams, roads, urban, rural infrastructure, and all this stuff. So obviously, because of these kind of activities, you are going to intervene in the ecosystem. So that is not a good sign for the environment and conservation. Then you have tourism pressure also. See, people are going everywhere. So eco-sensitive zones are also facing a pressure of tourism. So there is already overcapacity, excess of going out of going of crowd over there, and the people wherever they go likely to create waste also. So that waste will also degrade the environment, right, affecting the ecosystem over there. Then other threats include population pressure. Yes, as said earlier, urbanization, population pressure, everywhere construction, people are settling everywhere. So that is the issue. And invasive species also. See, as I said, the threats that eco-sensitive zones are on the similar lines. The threats the national parks, wildlife sanctuaries are facing. So, moment there is invasive species. Invasive species are those species which are not native to the ecosystem, right? So whenever they are not native, whenever they come to new species, what they do is they will be outcompeting other species. Outcompeting other species meaning they will be growing at the expense of these species. So in a way that is a threatening the ecosystem. They will create imbalance in the entire ecosystem. So this is also one kind of threat in eco-sensitive zones. So that's it for today. You can also download the PDF of this document in the link that is shared below, and do download Topper IS Institute app so that you get access to n number of these videos which will be helpful in your UPSC preparation. Thank you.